Americans got to hear from the 20-year-old Taliban fighter in an interview conducted the first week in December. He'd recently surrendered after a prison uprising and was interviewed by author Robert Pelton.
How long have you been in Afghanistan?
Mr. Pelton, good morning.
Good morning.
When you first came in contact with John Walker, what shape was he in? What condition was he in?
Well, he was in pretty bad shape. There were 18 fighters that had been pulled out of the prison that were seriously wounded, and when I opened the door to the hospital, the stench of sort of just people that had been in the basement for 7 days with dead bodies was pretty overpowering.
He had been bombed. They had put water in the basement of that prison. They had gassed the prison. Were you surprised that an American was so willing to endure such hardship in a fight against other Americans?
Yeah, I think I was. I've been with another American in a jihad in Chechnya, but I was surprised to see what Walker had gone through. There were a number of people who had died in the bunker, and he was one of 86 people left.
Let me play you a small, very small portion of your interview with him and ask you about it on the other end.
Was your goal to be shaheed or martyred?
It's the goal of every Muslim.
Was this the right cause or the right place?
Exactly what I thought it would be.
I mean, was it a good cause for you?
Definitely.
It's a little difficult to understand, Mr. Pelton, but what you asked him was this the right cause or the right place? What did you mean by that?
Well, I didn't agree with his idea that he had chosen a jihad in which he was killing other Muslims. I didn't think that was in line with what the Quran teaches. Secondly, he was in a very bad shape, and I just wanted to get his feelings on the fact that here he was wanting to die in a foreign country, but basically lying there helpless, being attended to by an American Special Forces medic.
Let me backtrack for a second. Was he very willing to talk to you in the beginning when you approached him, or did that take some coaxing?
Well, not at all. He was very, you know, he was non-communicative. He was in the advanced stages of hypothermia, and then when he realized that I wanted to talk to him, he was a little bit curt, a little bit short, and then when he realized that I just wanted to get some information to the outside world for his loved ones, I think he started to talk.
At one part of the interview, you were asked by John Walker if you are Muslim, and you answered, quote, by saying, "No, unfortunately, but I respect the cause and I respect the call." At least one journalist that I've read took you to cause for that and said that that was an inappropriate comment. Give me a sense of what was happening at that time and what you were thinking when you made that statement.
Well, I think that was a TV reviewer at the New York Post. The bottom line is that jihad is one of the 5 pillars of Islam, so I respect other people's religions. Secondly, the call, which is the goal of Muslims to go and help people in foreign countries, is an integral part of their religion. I don't agree with going to a foreign country and killing other people.
But when you said you respect the cause, what are you referring to?
I'm talking about the cause of jihad or struggle, which is one of the 5 pillars of Islam.
But you do not respect jihad when it's against Americans, is that fair?
Like I said, I don't support going to a foreign country and killing other people. I think it's not appropriate to their religion or even to any cause.
There's a debate now, Mr. Pelton, as to whether John Walker should be tried for treason. After talking to him for some 20 minutes, what's your feeling on that subject?
Well, I don't think he deliberately went to Afghanistan to wage a war against America. He went there to help out people trying to establish an Islamic State. He got caught up in events, and I asked him specifically, there's much of the tape that isn't shown, but I asked him, why didn't you then change your mind or give up? Well, he was on the run with a number of people in a very remote part of Afghanistan.
Well, but that's an interesting point. Let's follow that a second, because at some point he realized that American forces were involved in this fight, that it had become a fight between the Taliban, the Northern Alliance, and Americans. Why, in your opinion, didn't he say, okay, this is where I draw the line?
Because the type of combat was actually quite remote. He was being bombed by aircraft. The special forces that I was with were at least, 500 yards to 2,000 yards away from Taliban positions. There's no way he would have contacted the Americans or even actually fired a shot in anger. They were too far away.
It seems that to prove treason against John Walker, someone's going to have to be able to prove that he was actively involved into what resulted in the death of an American, the CIA agent Mike Spann. When you talked to him about that prison uprising, how did he describe it?
Well, first of all, he felt that it was not right for one of the other people to throw a grenade and kill one of the Afghan commanders. He immediately went down into the bunker and spent the full 7 days there, according to his words. I believe him because he was in better shape than most of the other people. But, you know, I wasn't specifically there for the actual events where they threw the grenades, so I'll let a judge and jury figure that one out.
But based on what he told you, you don't think he was actively involved in the part of the incident where Mike Spann was killed?
Well, bottom line, he's kind of a wussy. He's not an aggressive man at all. And I took what he said at face value because he was very open and he was very candid about his discussions with me. He didn't seem like a very bellicose person.
Let me change your word to wimp. Why do you think he's kind of a wimpy guy? I mean, this guy endured an awful lot, fought with the Taliban under very harsh conditions. Why would you say that?
He was very sensitive. I mean, his whole concern was more the moral and religious and you know, not the fighting part. The most people that I know that go off to fight jihad are very aggressive, you know, tough people. This guy struck me as a guy that should be going to poetry readings.
You did offer to contact some people for John Walker through the internet. Have you had any contact with him since you left in early December?
No, he's on a ship right now, and after I took him back to where I was staying, the American Special Forces took him off and took care of his health and well-being. But basically, he's a prisoner of war at this point, and he's incommunicado.
All right, Robert Pelton. Mr. Pelton, thanks very much. We appreciate it.
My pleasure.